We will tell you exactly where to go in the time of the emergency. All we ask you just remain calm, remain in your seats. Toilets are downstairs in the lowest room, and there is a fully licensed bar open if anyone would like a drink. And what I'll do is I'll carry on pointing some of the places, items of interest.
Oo nga. Okay.
So we'll start.
Kaya wala silang tap.
That is Waterloo Road.
Parang ano ka lang talaga, sasakay.
Parang taxi lang. It is known as the Ladies Bridge. And that's because the workforce was over 80% female.
Waterloo Bridge.
White women built this bridge. It's the longest bridge in London, stands a quarter of a mile, and it is the only bridge that has ever been finished on time. But that is because the girls did it, isn't it? So,
London Bridge.
my mum always said if you want something done properly, get a girl to do it. That's why they built the bridge. They also faced it in a very expensive but a self-cleaning, very practical Portland stone, which does clean itself every time that it rains here in London. But if you look at the underneath as we go through, you'll notice it is actually rather dirty. But there is only one reason for that, and that is it doesn't rain upside down. Pretty simple when you think about it. But to our right now, building there with the electronic changing sign, that is the National Theatre, London's pride and joy. Boasts 3 separate theatres, bars and restaurants. Unfortunately though, has been voted one of London's ugliest buildings in our ugly building competition. Now why we have a competition for ugly buildings, I could not tell you, but we do, and that used to win it regularly. Until they built a Tesco's in Woolwich, and I don't know if any of you have seen that, but my god, that's ugly. Now over to our left on the embankment wall, you'll see on the underneath where the lampposts are, you'll see these bronze lions' heads. Now that is an old flood defence indicating system that was used by the Victorian police. Now they would patrol down there, and if they look over the walls, and if the water had reached those lions, they would issue a flood warning. London was at risk of flooding. So to help them remember that, they had a poem, and that went, if you see the lions are drinking, London will soon be sinking. If it is up to the lion's mane, you're about to go down the drain. But if those heads are ever ducked, well, London is utterly flooded. Because not all poems have to rhyme. It's true, they don't. Now on the right folks, look, that's London's premier beach resort over there. That is the South Bank Riviera. Yeah. Bet you didn't know we had a lovely tropical sunny beach here in London, did you? Well, it was over there in that hidden cove on them sun-kissed golden sands where they filmed Baywatch. Yeah, we saw someone running over there once, I'm sure that's what it was. But also to the right, the red brick building with the Oxo Tower, that is indeed where they used to make the famous Stock Cube. You know, the one in the silver wrapper you can never open. That's where they used to make that. They don't anymore. The bottom 2 floors are all shops. Under the glass roof at the top is a very nice but a very expensive Harvey Nichols restaurant. And in between all of that is unaffordable housing, which is just like most of it in London now, really. Now, if you've got a camera with you, folks, most of us do today in age, look ahead of us to the left, you'll get a lovely picture there, look, of St Paul's Cathedral. St Paul's stands 365 feet high, easily remembered as 1 foot for every day of the year. It took 35 years to build, and it was completed in 1710. So Christopher Wren's masterpiece. So you do get a lovely picture on this side of the bridge. And then in front of the boat we got the 3 bridges of Blackfriars. Now nowhere on the River Thames do you find 3 bridges built this close together, often referred to as the Tunnel of Love. So as we pass through, turn to a loved one, give them a quick kiss, and you'll be granted many years of happiness. If you've forgotten to bring a loved one with you today, you can always turn to your husband or wife. It will work the same, I promise. Any single girls aboard the boat, you're more than welcome to come and give me a kiss. I don't mind, just form a nice orderly queue. Right? We'll go round again. If there is any single men, we don't leave you out. Our young apprentice Harry is a very open-minded young individual. I'm sure he'd love it. And once we're in the right-hand side, the building there with the large chimney is the old Bankside Power Station. No longer a power station, now houses the Gallery of Modern Art, the Tate Modern. It is entirely free to enter, but if you have seen modern art, you'll know why it's free. It's all a load of rubbish, really, isn't it? I mean, I read a story the other day, right? There was a gentleman walking around there and he dropped his wallet. Right? For 2.5 hours he never had his wallet. And he was walking around retracing his footsteps. When he got back to where he had dropped his wallet, nobody had touched it, nobody had removed anything from it. There was just a crowd of 40 people standing around it taking a picture. Perhaps I just don't understand modern art, but there we go, the Tate Modern. I'm about to go through the infamous Wibbly Wobbly Footbridge. If any of you remember the fans of the Harry Potter films, you'll recognise this one, as this is the one the nasty Death Eaters destroyed. And then Half-Blood Prince, I think it is. You may notice as well how we say things in London, we don't pronounce our H's. So Harry Potter, not Harry, that sounds weird to us. And like I say, we just don't do our H's in London. Harry, house. But then again, we had an L with the word water, so it's water to us. We're leaking everywhere. Now, also on the right, the white building, timber frames, thatched roof. That's a replica of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. It's in there, you can see all of Shakespeare's plays, all performed how they would have been done. So there's no microphones in there, no lighting. There's just a few people wearing odd clothes and shouting. But it is very good at the Globe, I will admit. It's one of London's cheaper theatres as well, as they believe that everybody should be able to go and see a play. So you can actually get a ticket to go and see one of the plays. Bear in mind they are limited for as little as just £5. Now if you ask me, £5 for live entertainment here in London is an absolute bargain. So well worth it over there at the Globe Theatre. Now this is the Southwark Road Bridge, the narrowest and least used bridge to span the River Thames. And then once through the bridge, in front of us there, we've got another one. That one's called the Cannon Street Railway Bridge. Now most bridges on the river have something historical, or at least interesting, or something that I can make up about. This next one, it doesn't. I mean, just look at it. It's green and it stops trains falling in the river. I mean, that is it. It's a boring bridge. But there's a lovely pub to the right. That one is called the Anchor, and that was built in 1615. And it's in that pub where Shakespeare would have had a changing room, and he would have performed at the nearby Rose and Globe Theatres. Now, is there any fans of the Pirates of the Caribbean films? Anyone like those films, Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah? If you've got a camera with you, take a picture of the black pirate ship that is over on the right there, look. Try and get a picture of that boat. And then when you look at your picture later on today, you'll notice it has absolutely nothing to do with those films. Nothing at all. I just like them. They're good, aren't they? That's a replica of Sir Francis Drake's ship, the Golden Hind. Drake being the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe. The replica has done circumnavigated the globe twice, but it has done more sea miles than the original. It's also saved up to its around the world. We're about to go through the next bridge, folks. Anybody know the name of this next bridge? Give you a clue, it is wrote on the wall. Say, this is London Bridge. So as we go through, look either side of us, you'll see it carved into the stonework, London Bridge. Now lots of people do confuse London Bridge. Lots of people believe the one down there in front of us is London Bridge. Well folks, that bridge down there is the Tower. It's really easy to remember which one is which. London Bridge has its name on it, and Tower Bridge has towers. So it is very simple when you think about it. Now, to the right of the skyline is the Shard, Western Europe's tallest building. Stands over 1,000 feet high.
Tallest building.
Consists of offices, apartments, Shangri-La hotel, restaurants, bar, and there is an observation deck at the top. But be warned, that will set you back around £35 for an adult. And then if you look very carefully in front of the road to our right, you might see a large warship. Then again, you might not. They did paint that in camouflage. But that is the HMS Belfast. She's permanently moored here as a museum and tribute to British Navy. Now folks, we do understand lots of people like to get pictures on Tower Bridge in front of us. But if you could just take a minute to look behind you and imagine what it's like for everybody to stand up and take a picture. We can't see where we're going. So once you've taken your picture, if you could just kindly return to your seats, that would be great for you. So the left is the Tower of London. Now the centre keep, placed there back in 1078 by William. Everything else that you see there today has been added by reigning monarchs. Been a few things in its day, a palace, fortress, prison, mint, zoo, observatory, but most famously, lots of gruesome history taking place. That is well worth a visit though folks. There's over 1,000 years of French and English history. And then in front of the boat here is the Tower Bridge. Opened in 1894, designed so the 2 centre bascles can be opened and raised to allow larger ships in and out of London. Each one of these weighs over 1,000 tons and they can be raised in just 19 seconds. There's only one day of the entire year where they will not open Tower Bridge, and that is the day of the London Marathon, because Tower Bridge is part of. Alright folks, we are now arriving at our next stop. So if you are leaving the boat here, okay, just remain in your seats until we are alongside. Boats can bump and we can't always help that. And if you fall over, we will laugh at you, okay? So just use these last few moments to have a good look around you and make sure that you have all of your belongings. Okay, your cameras, your handbags, your mobile phones, your wives, your husbands, other people's wives or husbands, I mean we don't judge. But most importantly, remember your children. Take your kids with you, okay? Honestly, we still have 6 from last week. I don't know what to do with them anymore. They all speak 6 different languages and they want 6 different things for dinner. It's getting very, very confusing, okay? So please, take your kids with you. Last thing that I'll mention folks, just is of course a little bit about these commentaries. They don't bias the cruise, we're not official guides. Now the crunch part of that is because there's always a crunch part at the end of the day. And that is if anybody cares to show any appreciation for my efforts as a guide, I'll be standing down at the exit as you leave with my trusty silver champagne bucket that sadly has no champagne in it. Right, this is our tip bucket. If you want to throw anything into it, you know, like your small change, like 10, 20, £50 notes, anything like that, really greatly appreciated. Of course, if you have no small change, we do also accept rings, watches, necklaces, girls' telephone numbers, mobile phones, credit cards, anything really. But anything that you do give folks will be gratefully appreciated.